People often ask these days, why are we going to Iran? By which they really mean, what's wrong with y'all? Isn't it dangerous? And of course we understand that there are tensions between the two governments, and Lord knows I have no illusions about what the U.S. imperial military is capable of. But I am not, nor will Sharon, live our lives in fear of the White House. There are also 3 clean reasons why I am very optimistic about the outcome of our trip to Iran. 1, I am an American. 2, I am a Jew. And 3, I have brown skin, which constitutes the trifecta of groups that Iranians have been shown to be really fond of. Americans. Yes, there are people who not regularly, every year, and a few other times, shout, "Death to America!" But how do we science that? How do we quantify how Iranians actually feel about Americans? A 2009 World Public Opinion survey found that 51% of Iranians held a favorable opinion of Americans, which is probably higher than the percentage of Americans who hold a favorable opinion of Americans. The general Iranian opinion is, I believe, like that of the guy I met in Honduras back in the 80s. We want all the Americans to come, everybody come, visit, enjoy, just leave the Marines at home. As a Jew, I am comforted by the fact that the Babylonian exile was ended when the Jews were freed from captivity by the Iranian Persian King Cyrus the Great, whom the prophet Isaiah dubbed the Messiah of God. Later, during the book of Esther, the Jews of Persia were saved from the murderous plot of the genocidal Haman by the king of Persia, King Ahasuerus. Yes, Ahasuerus was a knucklehead, but sometimes knuckleheads rise to power. I know it's hard to believe, but it does happen. Judaism is also one of modern Iran's 4 official religions, along with Christianity, Islam, and Zoroastrianism. And finally, during World War II, at a time when the United States sent almost 1,000 Jewish refugees back from our shores to Europe into the arms of Der Fuhrer, Iranians were smuggling Jewish refugees into their country and safety. As a man with brown skin, I am delighted to remember that 2 weeks into the Iranian hostage crisis of 1979, the Iranians not only let the black men go, but let them take the white women with them. I say that humorously, but it really did happen. And at the time, the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini explained the move, saying that Islam holds women in special esteem, and that blacks had been historically mistreated in America, and that many were in the military, like the ones guarding the embassy, involuntarily. Let me further say that as a burner, a guy who attends Burning Man events, it does not hurt that we will visit the city of Yazd, home of the eternal flame of the Zoroastrian religion, a fire that has been burning, they say, for 1,200 years. And I will also admit, there is a deliciousness about going somewhere we're not supposed to go, about seeing for myself a land that has been so vigorously vilified. But I'm curious what you think. Would you travel to Iran? Do you think it's a good idea that we are traveling to Iran? Do you know people who've traveled there, and what have they had to say? Got any advice? Please leave your comments below. And until we return from the great land of Persia, I hope this is the best month and that the roaring 20s are the best decade of your life.